Court of Human Rights and the Russian Federation. I mean the relations between this international court and not international but regional court and Russia, of course. Well, a little bit about the court itself. So the European Court of Human Rights was established with the European Convention of Human Rights on the 3rd of September 1953, located in Strasbourg. The European Court of Human Rights has jurisdiction over European Council member states that have opted to accept the court's optional jurisdiction. Once a state has done so, all court decisions regarding it are binding. So the court accepts applications of instances of human rights violations from individuals as well as states. However, it's rare for a state to submit allegations against another state unless the violation is severe. So now Russia and the European Court of Human Rights. The Russian Federation ratified the European Convention of Human Rights in May 1998. The first judgment against Russia came in 2002, and there were a series of violations in Chechnya during the wars in the region. Violations found by the court included violations of a lot of rights. So you can hear on this slide the number of these rights, so the right to life, freedom of expression, and so on. In January 2003, the European Court admitted the first application concerning human rights violation in Chechnya. The applicants alleged that the Russian military violated their rights in the course of military operations in Chechnya in the period of 1999 to 2000. In 3 judgments of February 2005, the court held that the Russian Federation had violated Article 2, this is the right to life, then prohibition of torture, inhuman or degrading treatment, and right to an effective remedy. The first case concerning enforced disappearances in Chechnya was delivered by the court on the July of 2006. So, judgments in cases from Chechnya and other North Caucasus republics brought by Russian Justice Initiative and others have since contributed to clarifying important issues such as what constitutes inhuman treatment of relatives, under what circumstances it's possible to hold that disappearances is a violation of the right to life and the obligations of the respondent state when it comes in cooperating with the court. So, then on this slide you can see the European Court of Human Rights in Russia. That I can see the numbers of the cases before the European Court concerning the violations by the Russian Federation state. So, and as we all know, Russia is the state that has the greatest number of violations of the human rights. So, this is the first case that I want to show you. This is Basaeva versus Russia. And by the way, this is the last decision concerning the violations of human rights in Chechnya. So, Basaeva versus Russia, it was in April of 2007. European Court of Human Rights ruling in the case of forced disappearances of a Chechen man, Shahid Basaev, which unanimously held Russia responsible for serious violations of the European Convention of Human Rights. So Shahid Basaev was a Chechen civilian who was forcibly disappeared after being detained by Russian Special Police Forces, OMON, on the outskirts of Grozny in March 2000. His body was never found. Well, Russian troops filmed that the detention themselves and later sold the video to Basaev's wife, Asmart, for $1,000. This video showing Basaev lying on the ground and being kicked by a soldier before being taken away. So she was also given a sketched map showing where her husband was buried. After the detention of her husband, his wife Asma, immediately complained to the authorities, but the Russian authorities failed to carry out an effective investigation, prompting Basayeva to turn to the European Court of Human Rights. So in April 2007, in the ruling in the case Basayeva vs. Russia, the European Court ruled that Basayev's detention was unlawful and that he must be presumed dead. So the decision was, as I said, delayed. In its unanimous judgment, the court made a number of important findings. So the detention of Basayev had been unlawful, and Basayev must be presumed dead. The investigation into the disappearance of Basayev has been inadequate on numerous accounts, and so the suffering of Basayev's wife as a result of her husband's disappearance, and the failure of the Russian government to take adequate steps to clarify his fate reaches the threshold of unhuman and degrading treatment. So the refusal of the Russian authorities to submit the documents of criminal investigation file constitutes a failure to assist the court in its investigation. So very sad. Well, the next is Ilashko and others. Why it's interesting case? Because here you can see two respondents, not only Russian, but Moldovan. Well, Ilashko is a Moldovan-born Romanian politician, famous for being sentenced to death by the separatist Transnistrian government for alleged involvement in 2 murders and for actions which have been described as a Moldovan state sponsored terrorism by Transnistrian government officials. Ilashko became known for his opposition against Moldovan Communist Party, the ruling party. So, on June 1992, he and the 3 more ethnic Romanians, members of the Ilashko group, the so-called group, were arrested by the breakaway Transnistrian government and charged with the murder of 2 separatist officials. The Supreme Court of Transnistria found him guilty of a number of offences defined in the criminal code of the Moldovan Soviet Socialist Republic, including incitement to commit an offence against national security, organization of activities with the aim of committing extremely dangerous offences against the state, murdering, and so on. So Ilashko was sentenced to be shot, and the other 3 defendants were sentenced to hard labor for terms between 12 and 15 years. But the European Court of Human Rights judged in 2004 that the authorities have infringed the human rights as defined by the European Convention on Human Rights. So for Ilashko and the other 3 people arrested by the Transnistrian government, that these arrests were illegal. So the ruling came after a legal process that began in 1999, and so he was released. Under the court's decision, Russia was to pay Ilashko 187,000 euros. So why this case is important? Why there are 2 respondents, Moldova and Russia? So it's not so common situation because this is a case concerning the Transnistrian area. So this this region. So the Euro, it's the region of Moldovan Republic, but there are troops of Russia. So the court had the decision that Russia has the de facto control of this territory. So that's why we have 2 respondents. Next, very maybe funny case. It's about Alexei versus Russia. It's a very famous case. There's a case before the European Court of Human Rights concerning the prohibition of the 2006, 2007, and 2008 Moscow Pride gay rights marches in Russia's capital.
Sorry, and what is LGBT?
Oh, it's abbreviation of this
Lesbian,
gays group.
bisexual, and transsexual.
It's very well known case, I suppose. Well, the case was brought by Russian this group of gay activists, Nikolai Zeyev. He was the organizer of the marches in Moscow who claimed
Not machos, but marches.
Marches.
Yes, yes, because they are not machos.
no,
They are chmos.
opposite one.
Both. Yes, absolutely.
He claimed the banning of the marches had violated the Article 11, it's freedom of assembly of the European Convention on Human Rights, and he claimed furthermore that he had not received an effective remedy under Article 13 against the violation of this Article 11, and that he had been discriminated against by the authorities in Moscow under Article 14 in the consideration of his applications to hold the marches. So here we can see the three events in 2006 and 2007 and 2008. Alexeyev and his colleagues wanted to have these marches in the center of Moscow, but the authorities leading by the mayor of Moscow, Yuri Lushko, they prohibited such actions. And these cases were hearing before the court. Court in its decision, court realized that yes, there were some violations of these rights, but that decision I can say that it's not so clear, because we can say that in this case, the court was on the side of the authorities of Russia. Well, the next case, it's very interesting. It was a big surprise for me. Church of Scientology, Moscow versus Russia. The Church of Scientology, Moscow versus Russia, it's a European Court of Human Rights case concerning Article 11 of the Convention. In the case of the European Court of Human Rights in Strasbourg, condemned Moscow city government's refusal to consider this Church of Scientology for registration as a religious organization. So the Church of Scientology of Moscow describes itself as a religious association and was officially registered as such in January 1994. But on the 1st of October 1997, a new law of freedom of conscience and religious association, so-called religion law, entered into force and requiring all religious associations previously granted the status of legal entity to bring their articles of association into conformity with their religion law and to reapply for registration with the Contempt Justice Department before the December of 2000. Failure to obtain registration before the expiration of that time led to expose the church to the threat of dissolution by judicial decision. So this church wanted to be registered, but it was failed. So in its decision overturning the refusal by Russian authorities to register this church, the Human Rights Court determined that the Church of Scientology of Moscow was a religious community entitled to the rights afforded to such communities by the Convention, Article 9, which protects the right to freedom of religion or belief. The court held that where the organization of religious community is at issue, refusal to interference with the applicants' right to freedom of religion under Article 9 of the Convention. The court noted that the believer's right to freedom of religion encompasses the expectation that the community will be allowed to function peacefully, free from arbitrary state intervention. Therefore, the court that the failure to recognize the Church of Scientology of Moscow through rejection of registration offended these fundamental religious freedoms. So the next case is also very famous, and so the two other cases, this one and the second, will be will be linked. So Alexanyan, he was the manager of the Yugoslav company and former executive vice president of this company. On the April of 2006, he was arrested as a suspected tax evasion and money laundering. He was arrested, and but he has a great number of illnesses. So he had cancer, tuberculosis, and AIDS, and his spleen was surgically removed. So, this prison didn't give him treatment. So, on December of 2008, European Court of Human Rights made its decision over the Alexanyan versus Russia case. The court found Russia in violation of 4 articles of European Convention on Human Rights and obliged Russia to release Alexanyan immediately without any bond. He was in prison for 1 year and some months, and so he died at his home in Moscow in October of 2011 due to complications from AIDS. So next is Lucas Oil Company. It's very famous. Well, all of you know that Lucas Oil Company was a petroleum company, Russian petroleum company, which until 2003 was controlled by Russian oligarch Mikhail Khodorkovsky and a number of other prominent Russian businessmen. After Yukos was bankrupted, Khodorkovsky was convicted and sent to prison. On April 2004, shortly after the imposition of the tax assessment for the year 2000, the former management of Yukos submitted an application to the European Court of Human Rights. So it was a very hard, not so clear case, and I can't say that the court realized that Yukos oil companies and its members' rights were violated. They said yes, Russia had some violations, but it's not. Well, Russia has no. It's very interesting and very sad, I suppose. A case well known. It's about the veteran of the Second World War, Vasily Kononov. He was in his Russian his originality, but he lived in Latvia all of his life. He was the only Soviet partisan from this World War convicted of crimes against humanity for his role in the Mazi-Bati killings, where posing as German Wehrmacht officers, Kononov led the unit into a Latvian village and killed 9 people, including 3 women, 1 in the late stages of pregnancy who was burned alive. So on the February of 1944, Latvian villagers from Mazi-Bati, it's a little town, village, allowed 12 men from the Soviet sabotage group to stay in their bunks. The next day, at 6 in the morning, the Germans, who Kononov suspected the villagers of aiding, burned and gunned the bunks. So all 12 partisans, including the leader Chubunov, his wife and the son were killed. So in July of 1998, the original proceedings against Kononov were commenced by the Latvian Principal Public Prosecutor's Office, and whereby in August of 1998 he was formally charged and ultimately indicted in December of 1998, so he was realized as guilty. the very famous Russian lawyer, announced that the European Court of Human Rights had overturned the Latvian court ruling. He also said that Kononov was seeking more than 5 million euros in compensation for the 2.5 years his client spent in Latvian prison. Well, he was very old in that time. In May of 2010, the Grand Chamber ruled by 14 votes to 3 that the case presented no violation of Article 7 of Convention under the Hague regulations of 1997. The court determined Kononov could be punished for failing to meet the regulation criteria, specifically wearing German Wehrmacht uniforms while carrying out the crimes. So the court determined the execution of the villagers was in violation of established international law at the time, as Kononov was only entitled to arrest them, and his conviction was not barred by statute of limitations. So Kononov had the great support from Russia, from Russian authorities, and for example from the president of Russia, and unfortunately he died in March of 2011. He was realized as guilty one. So it's very sad, but